What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDoWorkHereLady. This story's called, Lady, You're Not Special. So I just found this sub and oh boy, do I have so many stories I want to share from my time working at the airport. Mandatory on mobile apology. My personal favorite is back when I was the supervisor for a vendor company that supplied employees to different airlines for services. In this situation, it was providing the wheelchair and other assistive services to those traveling with a disability. This was about 2 or 3 years ago, so details are kind of fuzzy. That day, I was supervising the smallest section. Small in that I only had 4 agents to oversee. Due to the nature of how we could get busy, and in those moments I needed all hands on deck, I usually allowed my employees to work between themselves when they'd have their lunch break and have them notify me, so I could be aware of the number of staff I currently have on the floor and what they are doing. One of my staff had just left for his 30-minute lunch break. I was making my rounds, making sure things were okay at the different gates. I then get a call over the radio that a passenger at the ticket counter needs assistance. I call several agents to see if they are available to assist. One of them responds back and says he's coming back from dropping his previous passenger off and will be there momentarily. Not even 5 minutes later, I get a call stating that the passenger at the counter is demanding for a supervisor because she's been waiting for 30 minutes. I checked my call log, as our radios record times and messages for situations like this, and see that my very first notification wasn't even 5 minutes ago. Yay! It's gonna be one of those customers. I make my way down to the ticket counter, which was another 5 minutes or so, and meet the customer in question. It's an older lady, Karen, and her boy toy? He doesn't play much of a role in the story, but throughout this, he is quiet, defers to her all the time, and is a big, muscular man, younger than Karen. Good evening, my name is Redacted. I was told someone needed a supervisor. Yes, it's this lady, right here. She needs a wheelchair.
Yes, I've been waiting for 30 minutes and my flight is getting ready to leave and I need to be there. This is unacceptable.
Now, as a supervisor, I get paid more than the pushers, and the pushers are dependent on tips, with some places paying the waitress wage. So if any one of you who aren't aware of this, yes, you may tip the wheelchair agent and they will greatly appreciate this. Because of this, I try to make sure that I don't take any of my employees' passengers, as I don't want to mess with their tips. I understand, ma'am. I have notified my agents and I have an individual on the way. He was dropping off another passenger, but he should be here shortly.
No, I need to be at my gate now. I can't wait another minute. I'm gonna miss my flight.
Well, I could take you through security and tell my agent to meet us at the other side of security instead of here. Would that be okay?
Yes, that's fine.
As we go through, I ask for her boarding pass to scan it to indicate I picked her up, which enables me to see all sorts of information, including if she's pre-checked for TSA. She wasn't. I take her to the TSA agent to have him check her boarding pass and ID. Then enter the regular line. Her status was also irrelevant due to this terminal having certain hours where they have pre-check and shut it down for the other time periods when it's slow.
Why are we going here? I'm TSA pre-check.
Well, I didn't see it on your boarding pass, but currently they have it closed down for right now.
Well, why are we waiting behind all of these people?
There were like 4 people.
I'm in a wheelchair, so I'm able to cut and go to the front.
Unfortunately, I can't do that, ma'am. We are able to go through an expedited line. At this, I point towards the line I'm referring to, which is the line to have TSA look at your information before getting back in line to put stuff through the machine. But once we reach this point, we need to wait in line behind everyone else.
You don't understand. I'm going to miss my flight.
I asked for her boarding pass at this point. Oh, you still have 15 minutes before they even start boarding. And then an additional 30 before they close boarding. It's just right around the corner from here, so we have plenty of time to make it.
No, you don't understand. I have to be the first one on the plane.
When I still insisted that I could take her to the front, she stood up from the chair, marched to the front without the need of any assistance, and started yelling at the TSA agent that she's in a wheelchair and needs to come to the front of the line. TSA agent said that if she wanted to cut in front of everyone, all of 3 people now, she needed to ask them. Her travel partner then meekly asks each and every one if they can cut in front, and they said sure. As I get the luggage and chair up to the front, Karen tried to go through the metal detector. TSA agent asks for boarding pass, and she shows both that and ID. Due to her being old enough to go through even without being pre-check, the agent allows her through. At this, Karen turns to me and yells,
See? I told you that I was pre-check.
I apologize, ma'am, but I didn't see it. She gets my name after threatening to report me, and I transfer her over to the agent who I called who was supposed to have picked her up. Story isn't over yet, folks. I then went to the ticket counter, got the name of the agent who called, who confirmed that she wasn't waiting for 30 minutes, got a copy of the lady's boarding pass, got the name of the TSA agent, and wrote a report at the office, detailing them as witnesses and stapling her non-TSA pre-check boarding pass to the paperwork. It's been a few years, so I forget the term, but the person who is making sure we are in compliance with the ADA and the ACAA calls me about a month later and tells me that he's gotten a complaint about me. He saw my paperwork but wanted to hear it from my mouth because it's so crazy the stuff she said about you that I know she's lying. I want to hear this story. I didn't get into any trouble for that. Good, that lady was very entitled. I remember when I was on my way to Texas, I was running a little bit late for my flight, and I was still in this incredibly long security line. I was in there for like 45 minutes, and my flight was in like 15, and I was like halfway through. So I was freaking out a little bit, but they called my name and said I could go to the front because my flight was leaving soon, so that's good. But this lady was acting like a jerk, and I'm pretty sure that if you're on your way and if you're with someone who works for the airport, they could probably notify the people at the gate that you're on your way, and they'll likely hold it for you for a couple of minutes. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm sure you guys will let me know. This story's called Owner Loves to Tell People He is the Owner. General overview and background info before the XXXXXXXXXX. I work for a local hobby and game store. We have several different staff shirts with our store logo on them, but we aren't required to wear them unless a big event is going on. But we also sell different shirts that have our logo on them, so intentionally, it is easy for employees to blend in with customers for loss prevention and a casual atmosphere. The owners rarely wear staff shirts, but are proud of their business and wear our for sale shirts regularly when they are in the building. Before the Brovid stuff, we had a bunch of people come in every day to use our open tables to play games and hang out. So occasionally we get colorful characters, or Karens, Kens, etc. One of the owners loves coming up to problem people and acting like a fellow customer so he can give them just enough perceived support for them to show their true colors and then drop the, "Hi, my name is Carl. I'm the owner of this store. Get out of my store and don't come back." It is like his favorite thing to watch these people go from confident to confused to, "I'm gonna get your manager," to, "Oh wait, did he say owner?" to embarrassed and angry to meekly leaving the store. When we were smaller, he used to use a bit more intimidating language, but he still is a big guy and can be very intimidating with just his presence when he wants to be. There are so many great stories, and I'll probably get around to posting more at some point, but this is my current favorite. Some small details like names are edited for privacy stuff. XXXXXXXXX. Two groups of kids are opening the newest set of Magic the Gathering, a collectible card game. First group is around the 10 to young teen age range, and the second was older teens pushing 19 to 20ish. Both groups were having a good time opening good stuff and getting excited. There were some other people playing Magic and also a few other games too. One of the older kids hears one of the younger kids talking about getting a specific card and offers to trade with them for one of the cards he got. Both groups are new to the game, so neither could possibly know what the value of the cards are, but I do, and so does the owner who is sitting a few tables away playing a game with his friends. The older kid is trading away a trash card for a card worth like $50, but neither know that. The owner pipes up that just trading one for one without knowing the value of the cards is always a bad idea for both parties, and directs them to a website they can use to check the prices. They do, and the older kid is legitimately upset he almost ripped the other kid off. The owner tells them that until they get more experience with the game, that it is probably a pretty good idea to just not trade. They both thank him and go back to playing. Situation over, everyone happy. Until one of the fairly regular, colorful characters decides to involve himself. This guy has never been ill-intentioned, but always makes people uncomfortable by being a bit too forward or inviting himself into conversations or games with people he doesn't know. And since the situation is pretty much resolved, the only way to keep the conversation going is to take an opposing viewpoint. Colorful character starts arguing somehow that it is absolutely okay to trade away stuff you don't know the value of as long as you think you are getting a good deal. The owner is very confused as he hasn't interacted with colorful character before and asks him point blank if he thinks it's okay for people to cheat children. Colorful character says yes, just happy to be having a conversation and, in his mind, I guess winning the argument. Owner uses his signature line. "Well then, hi, I'm Carl. I'm the owner of this store. Get out of my store and never come back." Colorful character is so shook, he leaves without another word. But of course, the tale continues because another one of our sketchier, almost regular guys tries to argue with the owner that it was unfair of him to ban colorful customer just because he was okay with cheating children. It wasn't like he actually cheated himself, he was just okay with it. Owner is even more confused by this point of view and very frustrated at this point and says, "Well, as I just said, I'm Carl. I'm the owner. And if you really think that I should allow people in my store who are okay with cheating other customers, especially children, then you can get out and not come back too." They argue for a bit more and the owner tells me to call the cops to get this other guy out of the store. Before I can pick up the phone, the guy leaves. Owner gets loud and says to the entire store, "Anyone who thinks it is okay to rip off children in my store should leave and not come back." As he goes to sit back down to play his game, parents of the younger group of kids come up and thank him. At some point, those parents left a review of our store, 5 out of 5 stars. Okay, so I think the owner is really cool for sticking up for the kids, and, making sure they have a safe place to hang out too. But I feel bad because banning those two is a bit much. Obviously, we don't want anyone thinking it's okay to rip off children, but I feel like they could have just been like, hey, if you ever try to do anything like that here, you're going to be banned, as opposed to just banning them outright for having an opposing viewpoint, which, albeit might not be the best viewpoint, but definitely is one that can be changed. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like banning those two is unnecessary, but still a cool dude. This one's called Inmate Thinks I'm a New Correctional Officer and that he can run all over me. I'm a corrections officer in a local jail and have worked there for 14 years. We're pretty laid back for a jail, but it's still a jail. When an inmate asks for something and gets told no, the answer is no. Having spent the previous 10 years in retail, this is the dream. Also, when an inmate is told to do something, they're expected to do it. I should also mention here that my shift sergeant and I have been working together for about 8 years, and I've been there 2 years longer than he has. I should also mention that my sergeant is very overprotective of his staff. Here's the cast. There's me, Sarge, Inmate, some 20-ish-year-old kid who thinks he can run over the new guy. Back in 2014, I had a bunch of vacation time built up, so my wife and I took a 2-week vacation to go to Cooperstown to see the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame and watch the induction ceremony. Being a huge Atlanta Braves fan, we had a lot of fun watching Bobby Cox, Greg Maddux, and Tom Glavine get inducted. Imagine using vacation time for baseball stuff. When I got back to work, I'm doing my rounds and an inmate approaches me. Now, I don't recognize this guy, so he must be someone who was arrested while I was on vacation. He immediately starts in on me like he owns the jail. "Hey, I missed yard call because I was asleep. I need to go out to the yard now?" Too bad. You should have woken up when we did yard call for your dorm. You'll just have to wait for the next one tomorrow. "What do you know? You're just the new guy. Get me your sergeant." Trying not to laugh and knowing Sarge will get a kick out of this. "Okay, wait right here." I point to the spot he's standing in, expecting him to be there, or at least close by when I get back. I finish my rounds and call Sarge on the radio. "Hey Sarge, I got an inmate down here that says he needs to talk to you." "Well, what does he want?" Trying to keep from laughing. "He thinks I'm the new guy and can run over me because of it." "I'll be right there." When Sarge arrives, we both go back into the dorm, and lo and behold, inmate isn't waiting where I told him to. "Well, where is he?" "I don't know." "Hey inmate, Sarge is here to talk to you." Inmate, still acting like he owns the jail, walks out of his cell and approaches Sarge. "Hey Sarge, I missed yard call and the new guy here won't let me go out." "So, if you miss yard call, that's your problem, not mine or his. Next time we call yard call, get your lazy butt out of bed." Interrupting Sarge. "But you don't understand!" Interrupting inmate and getting louder. "No, you don't understand. When a member of staff gives you an answer, that is the answer. Furthermore, when an officer tells you to wait somewhere, you do it. You don't walk away." "But Sarge, this new guy." "This officer, me. You will refer to him as officer, me, not the new guy. Furthermore, officer, me, here has been working in this jail since before they put paint on the walls. So if he gives you an answer, that is definitely the answer. Now, go lock down." Inmate looking like he feels a foot tall. "But go lock down." Inmate goes and locks down, and Sarge and I go to his office. We have a good laugh, and Sarge wants inmate locked down for 3 days for disrespecting staff. But since we got a good laugh and good story, I convince him to just make it the rest of the day. I later go back and talk to inmate to give him his lockdown paperwork. Turns out, he's really not a bad guy, just pretty dumb, and he apologized. Since he's become a regular, we still get a good laugh about that whenever he comes back to jail. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing, but that's kind of funny. Just how nonchalantly he's like, "Yeah, he's a regular here, like it's a restaurant." No, he's committing crimes to get locked up. But that's sad because he's more or less a kid, because, I'm in my early 20s. Like, I just turned 21, and I'm a kid. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.